All right, so Deacon and Jessica Weeks here. We're talking about the subject of it's easy to exist when you don't produce anything. Can you explain what that means? Like, if you don't produce anything, what do you mean by that?
I just mean by living a simple life. You work for someone else, you go to work 9 to 5, you come home. Your quality of work isn't really that hardly judged, except for maybe by an employer slightly, but it's so hard to find employees as it is that will show up, so you definitely have an easy criteria. But when you're trying to produce stuff and do stuff and fix stuff and solve problems, and then you're working in various areas, you're not just in the same place, the same route, the same this, the same that. You have to figure out what to do, and I don't know the rules of every area. I'm certainly not going to study up on it. I'm certainly not going to plead with someone who just has a job just to say, can you give me permission to fix stuff like I've been doing in the last 10 years?
Well, people would make the argument that, well, that's your job to study that up, but you're supposed to study those things and find out what is expected in each municipality. And what happens is, when somebody works, if they've never been an entrepreneur, they've never really run their own company at all, they've always worked under somebody else as an employee, or maybe in a lot of cases, they're just straight welfare cases. They've never actually worked a day in their life. I also always call, I personally always call people who work for the government just another form of welfare. Not much is expected of them. Like, they have the easiest, cushiest jobs. They generally make top wages. Not much is expected of them. They can just kind of float through life and do whatever they want, and they usually have authority on their side because they push people around and take their stuff, and that's their whole existence. But they're not the ones that produce anything in society. Like, they're not the ones that actually make the society function. And it doesn't matter what level we're talking about. We've run retail stores, we've had farms, we've had different types of businesses we've run over the years. I've been involved in all kinds of construction and plumbing for most of my life. I've seen my father run companies. We've seen a lot of different industries and a lot of different things, and it's all pretty much the same. If you're either a person that produces value or you're a person who doesn't. And most employees don't produce that much value. There's always this argument like, oh, you're living off the value produced by your employees. That value is not anywhere near what the value that the owner generally produces, is because the owner has something completely different. They care. Like, we care. We give a shit. Like, most people don't. They just want to go to work, get a paycheck, and be left alone. And so if the company, quote unquote, if they do something wrong, it falls on the company. And they're like okay with the company being like, you have to, the employee, you have to fix this problem that's been created. Whereas the owner, they're just trying to solve a problem or provide a solution for other people or bring us a service, improve something. And it's frustrating when you're on this side of the table that you have so many people who are so quick to there's the criticism. Like, you don't like the criticism, but you have to be thick-skinned if you're going to run a business, period. But it's not even the criticism as much as it is the idea that everyone should have their hand in your pocket. Like, everyone has a right to your production. Everyone has a right to your time. Everyone has a right to whatever it is that you're doing, and they're valuable, but you're not. So, in a situation where it comes to permits and guidelines and those types of things, that doesn't mean anything to somebody who's really producing something. Every single construction company in the world, I would say in the world, looks at that as a nuisance, and they might say to the people around, well, we do have to do what the municipalities say, but they're fucking stupid, and they usually are. Oh, every single one. I don't care what construction company we're talking about, where we go, unless they're just trying to play like make the inspectors feel better or make it seem like their company is the pick-me company. They look at the inspectors and the government the exact same way. They hate them. They don't want them in their business. They know that they're not providing any value, and they would be better off if they just went away.
Well, they slow down production, too, because you got to wait for the inspection. You got to stop the project at one
So it's shocking to me that in these small towns that there's so many people who are just like sitting around and they're like, oh yes, you have to do those things for those people. They don't really think that. They don't do anything. They don't actually produce any value. They're either on welfare, they work for the government themselves, or they're friends with the person who is in question and they're trying to come to their defense. And it's really a matter of just not understanding that government does not actually produce anything of value. They never have, they never will. They only exist on the value that other people produce, and the people who produce absolutely hate them. And the only ones that benefit that are in capitalist situations are these crony capitalists who are in bed with the government and big enough to make rules that benefit them that don't benefit the little guy. And the little guy is trying to survive out here and put food on the table for his family and for the families that he employs. But they're constantly getting screwed by both the crony capitalists and the governments. And then instead of having the smaller people that are employees defending them, they attack them as if they're the same thing. Like, no, the American economy survives off the back of small businesses. And when you crush small businesses through through regulation that is just a burden, you're not going to have a good economy. It's not the Blackstones of the country that make the country what it is, just like it's not the mega farms that make the country what it is. It's the little mom and pop shops in each community that make it what it is. And believe it or not, we may not be from around here, but we are just a little mom and pop shop trying to provide good quality homes for Tennessee residents. And do we want to make a living doing it? Absolutely. Do we want to provide a bad product that is going to be not up to par? Absolutely not. That would not benefit us in any way. So our choice in life is definitely a hard one. We have chosen a hard path in the fact that we are trying to grow a business. But it's even made harder because I, unlike many of my compadres in this business and in others, am willing to stand up to these little tyrants to say, hey, you know what? Screw you. You know what? You think you're so tough and you think you're so bad. This place doesn't survive because of you. It's here because of people like me and my wife and the millions upon millions of other Americans who shoulder the responsibility to go after it every single day when we could just sit at home and be on welfare. I could do it too, but I've decided to go after it. And so has my wife. And so has the million of Americans that stand with us. Not you little cowards in the comments that say, oh, you should definitely go ask the government permission. Yeah, miss me with that garbage. It's because you don't produce anything. And that's the only reason. Thank you for listening to my